Yeah, that's so wonderful, because
Yeah.
they did have that such a strong sense, and actually that's really interesting that you're saying that, because one of the reasons I decided I needed to do this film was because when my daughter came of voting age, she, it came time to vote in the election, and she said, Mom, I'm only doing this because you want me to. And I said, oh no, there's something really missing in our history for that to be the case, and she doesn't think that anymore. Yes? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Lady Eric Salter here.
Julia's.
She was my grandfather's sister. But the thing I find ironic, being a public servant all my life, and maybe it was ahead of the times, of some of the things that Julia did, leading demonstrations and leading a march of men on the building who were unemployed, the colonial building and all that. Yet she was a public servant. She was 35 years in a grossing clerk at the colonial building. She drafted all the legislation by hand and all that.
She did.
But as an employee, to be doing that,
Yeah.
that today, you know where you'd be.
Yeah, that's true. Julia lived on Military Road, and the colonial building was just across the street.
Yeah.
And there's a wonderful story about the day she gave birth to her daughter, and Enid, who I interviewed. And she grew up with the story that Mom gave birth, and it was same day that the new bills were being passed in the house. So she gave birth, had to pass the baby over to the midwife, and they brought her the pen and paper to handwrite the bill. So that was Julia. Vote for Julia, she won't fool you. There's no question. Julia could have taken over the film. I had to work really hard for her not. She deserves her own film, actually. Every one of those women do, but I would just love to have done a whole series of films, but still waiting for the backer.
Yeah, it's funny about being an employee of government, you see, and doing that at the same time. And I never realized it before, but with Sir Richard Squires and whatever else, and they were a bit close family-wise. I mean, it was really dicey to be doing that, because he was against it, she was for it, if you follow me, right?
She was a force to be reckoned
Yeah.
with. Yeah, she's wonderful. Yes.
Why didn't the women in Labrador get the vote?
Why or when?
Why didn't they?
Very isolated.
Sorry,
Yeah.
some people didn't hear. It was, why didn't the women of Labrador get the vote at the same
Yeah.
time?
After there wasn't another vote in Newfoundland for quite some time, like when Sir Richard was returned to power. It was also controversial. It wasn't, a big open vote. Then, as you know, Newfoundland government was taken over by Great Britain, and it wasn't until Newfoundland joined Confederation that there was much thought given to women in Labrador. And think about it, you would have to get on a steamer and go to Labrador, and women too didn't, it was pretty rough going to make those journeys, and not many women went to Labrador from the island. Some did, but not specifically to check and see if women were voting. Yeah, it was a tough one. That's why I really wanted to make that statement in the end, because it was really shocking, I guess. Yes.
I have a question that isn't about the films per se. I have two watercolors by Fanny McNeil.
Oh.
Is it the same Fanny McNeil?
Yes, it is the same Fanny McNeil. Could I see them sometime, maybe? Oh, wow. Absolutely. Like, these women were remarkable in their art and in their everything, from their embroidery to their art, their talent, their golfing, their music. I mean, really, I think that was one of the charming things about the film, being able to find that old footage where they're, dancing across the stage, and, that's what they did with their time outside of the hard work of raising family. And Fanny, of course, lost, I'm not sure if it was one or two children in a very young age, as did Armine. So they really were touched with the struggles. And so, as I say in the film, disease knew no class boundary. Yeah, but thank you. I really want, Sabir, would you make sure that we have contact information.
Absolutely, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, you said that there's information that goes into the school system?
I'm sorry again?
This information is in the school system?
Yes, now when Untold Story came out, it was VHS. So the school system did buy VHS. And of course, no schools have VHS anymore, so we are working towards getting it back into the schools, into libraries. And again, you know, you make a film and you spend all that time, you absolutely have to move on to other things. And it's only when people ask those questions that it's going to be shown again in schools and made sure that, you know, our young people know the story.
At what age were they doing this? Is it part of the curriculum, or is it just in
The junior high and high, I think there was a new high school textbook that came out just a few years ago, isn't that correct, Sabine?
Yeah, women's
Yeah.
studies.
Yes, and
the textbooks.
that has a segment of the Untold Story in it. But the films should be, and if they're not in the libraries, then I hope somebody calls the Department of Education, and in turn calls me. We have a website, firecrown.ca, and that's where you can get more information on the film and how to purchase it, other than here at the gift shop.
Okay, well, thank you very much, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.